Alright, let's do this. So you want to join a volleyball club. Let me tell you something. When it comes to joining volleyball clubs and tryouts in general, there's no real wrong way to do it. You know, you show up, you do your thing, you leave. No one's gonna hate you for that, right? However, if you want to do it the right way, there are a few things to consider, and here's about maybe 5 or 6 things to think about in no particular order. Okay, a couple easy ones to get out of the way. Show up early, right? I think something to consider is that it's not just your teams that are trying out, it's a bunch of other people who maybe they want to join this team, maybe they want to join another team, or maybe they want to double up just to be safe, right? Showing up early and getting your parking spots is probably the best thing to do to get you situated and set up. Next thing is bring a friend. You know, I think something to really think about is when you're there, you're surrounded by tens, sometimes hundreds of other people and you don't know. They could be complete strangers, especially if it's your like first or second time going to a club tryout. It can be a little intimidating and it could be a little nerve-wracking when you're surrounded by a bunch of people who maybe they're better than you, maybe they have more experience, maybe they've been in this club before so they know more people. And this is your first time. Bring someone, bring a friend. Maybe they're not even gonna actually try out, but it's good to have a comfort buddy to be there to kind of just lock back in whenever you feel a certain type of way, or whenever it's like someone go grab a partner to go pepper, right? It's always easier to have a buddy there versus just being alone the entire time. Thirdly, this is kind of important. You gotta talk to your coaches, okay? Whether it's someone you don't know or someone you do know, introduce yourself, especially when it comes to tryouts. We're not gonna remember who you are unless you stand out or unless you let us know why you're here, right? Obviously, you're here to try out. Obviously, you're here to make the club, right? But if you take that initiative to step up and just, hey, my name is XYZ, I wanna play this position, come and watch me, right? That first step is gonna be like, from a coach's point of view, it's like, oh my God, this person, they got something and they want to show it off, right? Let's show you what they got. Speaking of which, show off at your tryout, right? Be there to dig that heavy ball that the other team is going for, right? Be there, make that effort, make that chase down, show people that you have what it takes, regardless of whether you actually have it or not. Maybe this isn't actually how you play normally, but when you're at the tryouts, just imagine there's the spotlight on you. Even though there's a bunch of other people there, imagine that spotlight is on you, okay? You wanna just make sure everything is out on the table. Go and make a difference. Speaking of which, next step to really think about, I think I'm a 4, maybe 5, I don't know, I'm just talking. Put yourself out there. I know that seems super duper obvious, but if you're not someone who's willing to show up and show out, somebody else will, right? Take that chance, take that swing, don't play it safe. Because what we as a coaching staff is looking for is, where is the potential? Where is the possible growth that we can add and provide to our players when they're on our team? If I see someone always constantly roll shot, I'm like, okay, a safe player, not bad. But where am I gonna go with that person? Do I just make them be more aggressive? Can I teach them to hit? All yes answers. But also at the same time, if I see someone who's just ripping the ball, and maybe sometimes it's in and maybe sometimes it's not, it gives me that sign that, okay, this person is willing to take that risk and to try to reach that potential versus always playing it safe. It's not a bad thing to play it safe, right? But when you're at tryouts, you really want to show like what you're made of. Like if I'm gonna pick between a person who is uncoachable but is like a stand-up, like 6 foot tall banger of a player, but their attitude is crappy, the way that they treat their teammates is crappy, versus someone who is shorter, has maybe less experience, but is able to go into this tryout open-mindedly, be coachable, listen to directions, and be someone who's completely coachable and wants to learn and wants to grow and doesn't play with an ego. I'm gonna choose that second person over that 6-foot player every single time. Don't get me wrong, the 6-foot player could be great and all, but I would want someone on my team who is a good player, who's wants to learn, who wants to get better, and not just an ego player. Something to also consider is game pace. I think a lot of the times when we do drills, we get stuck into this drill mode where it's like, okay, coach told me to do this, I'm gonna do this. This is the play that we're practicing, so this is the play that I'm gonna do. When we're in these drills, never forget that 1, you're always being watched, and 2, things have to consistently keep on moving, right? So if you're falling behind in a drill, we're gonna notice. Let's say you're putting in that hard work as well, we're also gonna notice. You might not think that we're noticing, but coaches have eyes everywhere, right? There's probably gonna be multiple coaches watching you, there's players watching you, there's parents watching you, maybe, but you're gonna have eyes on you. And when we as coaches, right? We as coaches are gonna notice, oh, this player gets up really fast. This player moves really quick. This player is able to communicate effectively at a faster pace than some of the other people. Little things like that can go a long way. Moving on to the drills and tryouts constantly going, we want to make sure that you guys are listening to directions, okay? It's so simple, right? I know, listen to directions. Why didn't I think of that, tryouts coach? But a lot of times, especially if you're trying out for a club that you've never been to before, you really want to understand that drill. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I've also fell victim to this, where I kind of just doze off and not listen to what coach says. If you don't know the drill, and if you're not sure what you're supposed to do, ask for a demonstration. Ask, hey, can you go over that one more time? Because if you don't ask now, and then you don't know what's happening later, that's also going to make an effect on the way you portray yourself when you're out there on the court, right? Adding on to that, don't be afraid to ask questions to players or to other coaches, right? I guarantee you when you're at these tryouts, there's going to be a bunch of people who have been here before. Maybe not the same exact moment, but there's probably players who have tried out before for this club, who already know the coaches, who kind of already know the drills, but they still need to go through tryouts in order to, make the team, obviously. Right? Another really good tip is to be a good teammate, right? Super obvious. But how do we actually be a good teammate when we're on the court, when we're trying out? One of the biggest things and easiest things to do is picking other people up. If somebody makes a mistake, you tell them, hey, don't worry about that, get the next one. Even though it's a tiny little mistake, even though it's like, oh, you really didn't have to do that, but you chose to go out of your way, help pick that person up, and then you continue to do your thing. Those are little things that make a big impact. Additionally, body language makes a really big impact on the people around you as well. This kind of goes into when you're on the court, you really want to have your body language show that you're ready to move, you're ready to learn, and you're ready to play. I think way too many players allow one mistake to kind of snowball in to a bunch of other mistakes just because they're so stuck in the past about something that's happened. Some of the best volleyball players that I know have the worst memory ever. 100%. You ask them, hey, do you remember what happened in the last set? They're like, no, I have no idea. But I do remember scoring this point at this time, right? Be able to filter out those negative moments with moments that you want to remember, right? Nobody wants to remember you messing up a serve when it's 25-24. Nobody wants to remember you touching the net on a super long rally, right? Those things will happen, and once they do happen, don't let your body tell the rest of your team that you're still mad about it. Because if you do, it will make an impact on the people around you. And not just for tryout wise, but just in general when we play. Another easy way to be a good teammate is generally just talk a lot. I know it's so simple and it's like the most obvious thing ever, but I guarantee you more than one person on that court does not know another person. Especially when there's just, you're overwhelmed by the amount of just players and coaches and things happening, right? Being able to just speak up, talk, let people know and communicate where they need to go, what needs to happen, whose ball is it, what needs to be done at that very moment is a great sign of leadership and responsibility. And if you're wrong, it doesn't matter, right? I think one of the scariest things in volleyball is not talking versus over talking. right? I'd rather have my team over communicate and be wrong versus under communicate and nothing happens, right? We've all been there where the ball goes between two people. We've all been there where the ball is clearly in, but nobody calls in. Small, simple things like this can lead to a huge impact for tryouts. Lastly, don't let whether you make it onto a team or not affect your future in playing. Okay, maybe there's a specific team you wanted to go for, but instead of getting that one, you got told to join a different team, right? Maybe it's not the exact one that you want, but you're still given this opportunity to play, and you're still given this opportunity to do the sport of volleyball. Take it. Don't argue with it. And then once you're in that position, prove to them why you should be on a higher level, right? Because at the end of the day, volleyball is a sport. Volleyball is a very difficult sport to play alone, and you want to be able to grow not just as a person, but also not just as a player. You want to be able to grow as a player and a person on and off the court. Lastly, if you get a tight set, when you get into the higher levels of club, like your 17s or 18s, you should really start to consider college, right? And where volleyball could lead to, and the scholarships and the full rides and all that good stuff. But if you have no ankles, how are you going to do that, right? Don't let a small thing get you down, right? A lot of the times, if you want to bang out and there's no net, there's no block, by all means go ahead. But it's not worth that risk of, oh, you're getting a tight set and there's two blockers or whatever, and you're going up just because you think you need to do that. Don't. It's not worth it. Let the ball drop. Let them know that you care about safety. Let them know that you prioritize your future. Move on. Okay? Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys make your teams, and whatever happens, happens. Don't let it get to you. One mistake doesn't define you as a character. Move on. Continue the game of volleyball. Spread the love. Shameless promotion. Join Squad Volleyball. Have a good one.